Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast. I'm Ashley.
I'm Michaela. We keep forgetting to introduce ourselves.
And welcome to the unnamed podcast that we have not named yet because we're still trying to figure out a name. You guys hear that bird? Sounds like Jack's destroying a squeaky toy. And speaking of birds, our topic today is nature related. You know about how small talk, it's always like, that weather. How's that weather? Nobody likes it. Well, we're going to talk about weather.
Well, more like the seasons and what's our favorite and why. Yeah. And
see,
that bird is insane.
You offended it.
Good.
So as you...
Every time you start talking.
As you probably know, we live in the Northeast. Do you want me to close the door?
Sure. I don't know if it'll help.
Let me help a little bit.
Tell it to shut up.
Shut up! Where did we leave off?
Let's start with the...
So we live in the Northeast. Yes. So
extreme weather.
We experience all 4 seasons up here. So we have spring, summer, fall, winter. The typical seasons. Most people know their seasons, even if they don't live in a place with them. I have to say, where we are, the climate is pretty tame. It's not a lot of extremes. See, I like the weather up here because we don't get a lot of bad weather. We don't really get tornadoes.
Natural disasters.
Natural disasters.
We don't get those.
Occasionally a blizzard, but they're never as bad as over in the Midwest where they're a little bit more northern than
are
we
those
are.
Considered natural disasters?
Blizzards?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Because hurricanes and stuff are. Blizzards can cause a lot of disaster.
I wouldn't call it.
So it was the ice storm back in 2009, I remember. 5th grade. It was the day before my birthday. I was preparing some Rice Krispie treats and stuff to bring into the class that day because I think it was a Friday. It was going to be a fun day. School was canceled that day because we had a major ice storm.
Some people
on
didn't have
my birthday.
Some people didn't have power for over a month.
It was a long time.
It took me over a week to get power.
Yeah, I think we were out of power it was about a week, and we were one of the first few to get power back because we're just so happened to live on a grid with schools and a hospital. So we're obviously one of the first people to get it back since we're one of the major hospitals in the area.
But I gotta say the winters have not been nothing like they were when we were younger. Yeah. You can definitely see the climate change in that.
See, winters when we were younger used to be a lot more consistent. We would have constant snow. It would stay. It was usually fluffy. I could go through and play in the snow, make tunnels, build snowmen and everything. And just over the years, especially the past few years,
lately
we would get slammed with a bunch of wet snow. And then it would all melt.
And then rain.
Mm-hmm. And then it would snow again. And we just, didn't have any, consistent snow for a long time.
And, it didn't even really snow. It wasn't even that cold out.
Mm-mm.
Climate change is real, guys. Pay attention. Think about what climate was like when you were younger versus what it's doing now.
Yeah, the winters nowadays are, nothing compared to when we were younger. And that's not even that long ago.
A bad day or two.
10, 15 years. No more than 15 years. That's, most.
Yeah, it's just, the change is insane.
Even, the change this season, this summer has been really weird for us. We didn't really have a spring. It was, all over the place. We didn't, we've been in, a drought for a while, so we haven't gotten a lot of rain. But this summer, it's mid-July right now. Right now it's July 12th, 13th? I think it's the 13th.
Yep.
So it's July 13th, and our summer has been basically just coming in waves. So, we'll get a nice, not nice, but a hot heat wave that's really dry, or sometimes
100
humid.
degrees.
And then we'd get these heat waves, and then once those are done, we've been getting a week of rain. So it's all the rain that we didn't get in spring is just coming now.
And at nighttime it feels like the fall. It's a little chilly.
Yeah, it's
it's very bizarre. We haven't really been able to do things because it's either too hot, too dry, or rain.
Yeah, or work.
But
weather-wise, it's either rainy or
Very
hot.
few.
And like it's hard for a lot of people to get those nice days because of like work, and they're so like far and few
I was about to
between
say,
right now.
there's not really like nice days. That hasn't stopped people from New England shopping though. Oh my god, it was like raining all day and it was the weekend and people were still just happily walking through it with flip-flops, shorts.
Again, we're in an outside mall.
Yes.
So the halls are all outside, and it's basically like a plaza strip kind of, but like all contained into like one mall.
Yeah, like we're all connected the roofs, but like there is no roofs for the outside. And people were just like
a couple here and there,
happily like pushing their babies in the strollers in the pouring
or
rain. And you're
the
like,
best thing is when they come in, they're like grumpy and they're like, I'm so wet, and they're just dripping everywhere. There's just trails. The floors are slippery.
Like, sir, it's
and
been raining all day.
Soggy and miserable, and it's like you chose to come here.
It's not like
nothing
it just
in this mall is
started.
like a necessity.
No, it's not like it randomly started raining. Like it's been raining all day. I don't want to hear you complain.
Like, does nobody watch the news anymore? Catch the weather? I check the weather constantly. Like I watch the news for the weather.
But here's the thing: even with the weather, blizzard, whatever, mall will be open.
Oh yeah, they don't care about our safety.
They don't care if we die.
So this past winter, we had a very bad like snowstorm. The mall didn't close. I was closing that day. I don't remember. It was closed earlier than usual, I think.
Well, we had COVID hours for quite a bit.
Yeah, so I think we were closed earlier for that because it wasn't at 9. But it was snowing so hard when I got out. Like, there were inches of snow on the ground.
Was it plowed?
There was, like, no plows out. Nobody was, like, going around. And so I had to drive home through it. Luckily, didn't have too many problems. But as I was, like, about, like, maybe 10 minutes away from my house, there is this road. It's not like a super steep hill. It's not bad, but apparently when it's covered in snow it is. Because so I went up. It's like, so there's this intersection with lights. I'm coming up this. Would it be easier if should I just draw a diagram? You got a whiteboard?
No, I don't.
So here's the intersection. This is the road I'm coming from, and I'm going straight up the intersection. And then up at the straight is like immediately a curve and a bend, and it goes up a hill. And I guess it's a good enough incline that if it's snowing, your car's not gonna go up. So there was basically like a bunch of cars like in the road, and I saw them like somewhere like trying to like back up and turn around. And I was like, why are people getting stuck? And I just happened to get myself in a position where like I couldn't get forward. My car would not go up the hill no matter how I tried. It was just, there was too much snow on the ground. My car doesn't have 4-wheel, which I don't like. I wish it did. We thought it was all-wheel, but we don't even know anymore. But so it wasn't going up. But the thing was, I couldn't back up either because it was snowing so hard. And I don't remember if my wiper was working. I don't think my wiper was working. Like, my back window was completely covered, so I couldn't see. And like I said, there's like, it's like big curve with trees and also like a trailer park right around that too. So I'm like, if I back up and go in like a ditch or somebody, I could end up in somebody's house. So that was very harrowing. My heart was racing. I'm like anxiety, my foot's shaking. I'm
all like, because the mall is like, you might make money. But here's the crazy thing. There's been one or two people that actually show up.
Oh yeah, people show up, and I'm like, what's wrong with
like,
you? You're the reason that we're in danger right now.
One of our coworkers was like, yeah, when I worked at a different store, they said that we could close at noon if no one showed up. One person showed up to do a return.
Awful.
The reason why the mall stays open in crazy weather is because 1 to 2 people show up. And it's because of you stupid idiots that we have to risk our lives trying to go to the mall, because sometimes it's bad weather in the morning, and then trying to get home when you can do whatever you want, and we can't.
Oh yeah. So to end that story, how it ended, so I called either my brother or my mom. I called home, and I think they put my brother on. And I was like, I'm stuck in the middle of the road, and I'm not going anywhere. So they were gonna come and try to figure out where I was, and to like try to come help. And so my brother was on the phone trying to figure out where I was, and there was like a truck coming down. So a truck with a plow, I think, or somebody in a truck, they came down and they stopped in the middle of the road to talk to me to see if like I was okay, because I had my hazards on and everything, so people know like, hey, I'm stuck, I'm not going anywhere, you're not getting past me, plus with the snow I don't think you're going to anyways. So he stopped in the road and he was like, hey, are you okay? Do you need help? And I'm like, I'm stuck. And he was like, I think he was like,
Probably thinking, why are you even out?
Yeah, well, he was out too, so. But he was like, oh, I'll see what I can do to help, but I can't right now. I had to go somewhere else, or he couldn't, or whatever. And then a guy pulled up behind him and was like honking at him to go. And we're just like, he's like, I'm sorry, I gotta go there. And I'm like, okay. And then another truck, I think, with a plow came up and they were like, hey, are you okay? And like asked if I needed help. I'm like, yeah, I'm stuck. And he was like, okay, what you're gonna do, just back up like a tiny bit. I'm gonna go around you and plow up in front of you. So I was like, okay. So we did that with his truck and then like plowed the road ahead of me. So I was able to get up the hill. Thank you to whoever you were, sir. You were a godsend. And my family was like on the phone the whole time with me. So I was like updating them like, yeah, there's somebody here. Hold on. Yeah, I'm up now. Okay. I'll be home in a bit. But yeah, it was real rough. It was scary. People were like fishtailing. There was people off the roads like everywhere. It was bad. But yeah, so that's like weather. Another time, I guess I could talk about one of my car accidents here because that was weather related. So I was, again, this was when I was commuting to school in college. I almost said high school, but I was like, something's wrong here.
You didn't commute in high school?
No, high school. I walked to school. So it was in college, so I was about like 30-40 minutes away. And I had a 8 o'clock class. It was like 9 p.m. or something. They still held it even though we were supposed to have really bad weather. The weather started when we were in class. So I got out. It was like 9:30 at night. And it was freezing rain. The roads were complete ice. And nothing was salted. That was super scary. And the only way that there is for me to get to the school was on the highway. A notorious highway for bad accidents and like people being stupid. So I was on that highway. So either it's that highway, another highway that's connected to it, or an hour-long detour along a bypass. So obviously went the highway, was going slow, was only doing like 40 or so, and I saw a car kind of like start to like lose traction around a bend, and I was like, oh no. So there was black ice on the road, but I just didn't like correct.
The most dangerous type of ice.
Yeah, I didn't correct the car correctly, and so I don't think I reacted in the proper way. So I was on the highway, my car spun out. I was actually in my mom's car because like we anticipated the weather being bad and it had 4-wheel drive. My car did not at the time. What car did I have? I forgot about my second car. So I was in that one because it was a bit better. So I spun out. It was, again, like around a curve, black ice, and I went completely backwards. So I was facing the direction that I came in, and I like spun out, and like the back, like the passenger's tail light hit a guardrail that was like over like a bridge or something. I'm not even sure where it was. And I was just like, so I like was like, what do I do? So I like put the hazards on so people would like know what I was, and like I'm just like, oh my god, please don't slip on the black ice, please don't crash into me. Oh my god, it was terrifying. And so I called home, and my brother answered the phone, and I was like, put mom on the phone, and he was like, why? And I was like, I'm backwards on the highway, put mom on the phone now. And god, that irritated me so much. I'm like, I'm clearly frantic, and you are just like taking your time, like, why? It's like, I don't care why. And then I just hear her on the phone. She says she's backwards on the highway. And I get off to my mom. I'm like, oh my god, you idiot, I'm gonna kill you. So I talked to my mom, talked to my dad. He was like talking me through it, and he's like, can you get out of there? So I was like, I'll try. So I like carefully like managed to turn myself around back onto the highway, and my foot was like shaking with anxiety, could barely drive. Got off at the next exit, which they actually ended up changing, not into an actual exit, but like onto another, like, it's so hard to explain. I don't know how to explain it. But I got off as soon as I could and went like the way that wasn't the highway home. Luckily, didn't have any problems there. Luckily, not a lot of damage, just a couple scrapes. Busted my mom's taillight. That was able to be changed, but yeah. That was that. You want to talk about some experiences you've had in bad weather driving?
I really haven't had any.
You've had one.
Compared to you. It was just one time I was interning, and it snowed, and my GPS Because we're trying to go to a commune, and my GPS took me down the wrong road.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was trying to back up, and my car just slid all the way into a ditch. It had to be towed out. I wasn't going fast or anything. It just went backwards and just kept going backwards.
Yeah. How'd you get out of that predicament? Why don't you tell the people?
I just
your
went
story?
up to a house, knocked on the door, and I was like, I'm stuck. Can you help me? So they called the tow. And I just waited inside their house. I guess I'm lucky I'm not dead, but...
Yeah, didn't they say, like, oh, good thing you came to us and not the neighbor because they're, like, a murderer or whatever?
No, the neighbors weren't murderers. They're just mean they wouldn't have helped me.
Mm.
That's what they said. So...
You got lucky.
Nothing, like, extreme. And then as soon as it pulled out, my car just went along my way. Like, there was no damage to my car.
Got pulled out of the ditch and then went on to her internship. Did you, like, call your teacher and was like, I'm gonna ditch? And...
I didn't call her. I just texted
her.
I didn't even text her. I texted the person. I was like, because it's film, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the person, like, the in charge person and the person that was in charge of me specifically. So I texted her, and then that person texted me, and then I just said, I'm stuck, so.
Might be a little bit late.
I was late.
Wasn't she?
I didn't get to do my job.
What was your job originally going to be?
I was art direction. I didn't get to help set up because I was really late.
Yeah, because you were in a ditch.
Because I was in a ditch.
How long did that all take?
Maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because of where they were and where the tow
It's nearly the whole movie in the film world.
So, I mean, because it was outside in commune, it was snowing, it was really cold, so I was like freezing to death while trying to do this film.
Mm.
So, I've been outside in really cold weather. I only had a fire pit to warm me, and all of us were like this, just shaking from the fire pit trying to warm up.
Just huddle all together for warmth.
It was pretty cold. It was pretty cold. And like, when I was trying to leave, because I was still in college, and I was trying to leave from the dorm because we got to go there earlier, they didn't even plow the parking lot yet. So I kind of like just had to make a trail for my car to get out. So my car was fine until the exit. Because you know when plows plow the main street, like pushes all the snow like against, so I had to get out of my car and I was digging myself out.
Yeah, her car is too little and it gets stuck in everything because it's really low to the ground, so there's about like this much clearance from the bumper to the ground. I know like one time we went to go film, and it was for
The Christmas Spirit.
Yes, what was the name of it? I keep forgetting the name. This is the second time I've forgotten the name for it.
As the
recently.
Bell Tolls.
Is that right? Yes. It's like Bell sounds wrong. I don't know. So yeah, that one. We were going to film it, and we went to turn. It was all like covered in snow.
I didn't even go all the way in. I was like, I don't think we can get in there. And she's like, I'm gonna try it. I'm like, don't you try it. No, it wasn't. I'm trying. I had to pull in just a little bit because I was on the main road. So I'm like, I had to turn in just a little bit, and then I was gonna back out and go. But I got stuck anyway.
And I was like, why would you do that? Just keep going down the road. And we'll turn in somewhere else and turn around. There's more stuff further down. But no, she turned into the trail and we got stuck in the trail entrance.
Well, I didn't even really turn in. It was just like, here's the trail, and I just went, boop, like right there.
Well, you still turned in enough to like get stuck.
I didn't think I would get stuck.
See, the thing is, the roads were completely clear. It was just because it's a trail, so obviously it's not maintained in the winter. But there was other people in there.
Yeah. So.
And like, these two older guys at the pickup truck. They came up to us and they're like, "You guys stuck?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So they're like,
and then
okay,
they
we're
got us unstuck, and they're like, you want to still go in? I was like, no,
we're good. We'll come back in a different car. We ended up just going to a different location. But yeah, they like helped like shovel out the stuff around our tires, and then they like rocked the car back and like pushed it out.
Yeah, because I keep a small shovel in my car.
That's what you do. We should have like emergency stuff in your car. Like in my car, I think I still have a shovel. I have a tire inflator that just like plugs into my the electric port, the cigarette lighter. I have a heated blanket which also plugs into that thing. I used to have antifreeze in there when I was having cooling problems, but I don't think it's in there anymore. I don't remember. It actually might be.
All I have is jumper cables and a shovel in my car.
I have an emergency hammer. It's either in my glove box or in my console. I think it's in my glove box. That has like a slicer thing so you can cut your seatbelt, and like a hammer so you can like smash the windows.
But that's what the your headrests are for the windows too.
Well, my previous car didn't even have that. Or was it my previous one? I think it was my first car. My first car was a 97 Ford Explorer. The seats were just all one bit. So there was no headrest for me to like yank out if I needed to. But also,
But
like,
fun
if
fact
you're
for
trapped,
those who don't know
how
it,
are you gonna, like, that's gonna be really hard to, like, get out.
the ends of those are meant so you can break your window if you need to.
They're pointy. But yeah, I still have an emergency hammer. Help. What else do I have in there? I have a seat cover. There's for my dogs. So I don't get hair all over the place, but I never have it up, so my car's just dirty from them. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, have emergency stuff in your car, guys. I don't think I have any, like, you know how you're supposed to have, like, the triangle things, the reflectors, in case you're in, like, an emergency stuff? I don't have any of those. Probably should. I think I have a jack that's just, like, the built-in ones that come in the cars that's, like, inside of it.
Putting things in my car after my car has a problem. So I put a shovel.
Too late.
So I put a shovel into my car after my car kept getting stuck in snow.
Oh yeah, wasn't that mostly at school when you just couldn't get out of the parking lot in the winter?
You know, also the thing in the parking lot, it flooded a lot.
Oh, and a snow brush. I have a snow brush in my car.
It flooded a lot.
Oh yeah, one time it was
midnight and
it was junior year,
and they're like, "Go get your car," and I was like, "What? It's flooded," and it was like up to my a real
so they
high
like
part on my
came up
car.
and like knocked in our dorm room, and they came looking for me because for some reason they were able to get my car's info and was like, you should go out to the lot.
Well, they called me.
Oh
but
yeah,
I didn't answer, so it went to a voicemail.
Yeah, so they called her. She didn't answer because we were either doing stuff or you didn't know the number and ignored it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ignored the number because she didn't know it. And then they came knocking on the door looking for me.
But it was also
about
midnight,
my car.
so I didn't.
It was midnight,
so I didn't think about it. I was like, "Why am I?"
And they were like, "You guys need to go now. Like, the lots are flooding." So we like ran out
in our PJs, just random
in, like,
shoes,
pajamas and shoes. You were in like your good like work shoes. I don't remember
they got wrecked after those because I didn't. When they said flooding, I didn't think it was like up to my freaking knees.
Yeah, it was like there was like this much water. Like my tires were like half covered.
And then I was just like, "Can your car even drive?"
Yeah, can you get your? I think my car was in the deeper part than yours.
Well, I think the water was at least to my door.
Yeah,
because
you have a low car.
Because I have a low car.
Luckily, like I have a high car, so it wasn't like in my car yet.
Yeah, so I was driving and I was like going up to my window and I was like, "Goodbye."
You're just opening your car and just floods in. But no, like it was deep. I was like, I gotta do this carefully so I don't get taken out. But yeah, like the river, because the parking lot was like along a river. There's a bit of embankment and like grass, but it just flooded so much. I think it was from like ice dams or something in the winter, wasn't it? Because it wasn't quite winter.
No, because we didn't have to put stuff.
So after we went and moved our cars, we walked over to the Walmart. Or no, we drove over to the Walmart that's next to the parking lot. Got like ice cream or whatever in our like pajamas while we were wet. Did we?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. That was a different time.
We had to take off our shoes though because they were so wet.
Yeah,
and we
our
walked
shoes and socks were
back.
so wet that we walked like back to it barefoot.
But the pavement was so cold, so it was stinging our feet. But we're like, and we're just really.
It was a lose-lose situation.
lose. And because I was wearing leather shoes, it like suction cupped my foot, and those died. They were done.
Don't get your leather shoes wet, guys, because they wrinkle, they can mold. Just don't do it. As people that work with leather shoes, don't do it.
I was like, what parking lot floods like this? Like, come on.
What shoes was I in? Because I don't remember my shoes getting completely destroyed.
You were just wearing sneakers.
I did have just sneakers. I don't remember. Was it the blue ones? I don't remember what I had, but mine didn't get as destroyed as hers.
I just did this one because I think those were the shoes that were already out. And once again, they were
in like panic mode, like you guys gotta go now.
And they were like platforms, so I was like, oh, my feet won't be wet. And then it was like up to my kneecaps, and I'm like, and I'm wet.
Yeah, our legs were drenched.
And I'm wet.
Fun times, but yeah.
It's like the one time they did
and we just so happened to be in the one tiny lot that like gets flooded the worst. I don't think we parked there anymore after that. I think we gave up on that area, just because it was just like.
Still,
we were like,
college. It's like
just through the water.
It's like freezing cold and stuff, and they still do fire alarms. You're like, I know how to evacuate a goddamn building.
You know, it's like we've been through this how many times? You have evacuation things on all the doors. It was worse in high school when they did them way more frequently.
But
in the cold.
But still, like. It was college, and at one point I was in the shower, and
I
didn't hear it. So our neighbors like blast music.
Mm-hmm.
So between the music in the shower and the doors are kind of really thick.
Yeah, they're pretty thick doors.
I didn't hear the fire alarm. So we were the last ones out because
I
got
of
dressed.
Heard something, and then she kind of didn't you open the door and was like,
no,
is that the fire?
You opened the door and you're like, that's the fire alarm. I'm like, okay, I wasn't sure because I just was gonna assume that she would have gotten me. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't a fire alarm.
Could you imagine if I just left the room and left you in there? Be like, she's having a shower. She's enjoying herself.
So I didn't think about it. So, like,
I was like, grab your clothes, grab your towel.
So, like, I dried myself off, put clothes on. We were the last ones to leave, and I had to jump back in afterwards because I think I may have had soap in my hair.
Yeah, she still had soap in her hair. Not like a ton. She had most of it, just like to get the rest of the residue out.
But here's the thing. That lesson is stupid because now it's like sometimes even 3 o'clock in the morning, fire alarms should go off, and you're just like sitting there trying to stay warm.
I don't think, from when I was there, I don't think I ever had any of that.
They didn't do it that time, but the fire alarms used to go off a lot when I was a freshman because people would burn popcorn. Yeah. But like the actual like times when they practiced it, I'm like, could you really not? Like, because some people are mad. Yeah. Like, I just needed to submit my paper, and now you ruined it, and now it's gonna be late. Like, could you tell us? Like, does it hurt to tell us?
Do it at night, like that late at night, because it was like between 9 and 10 o'clock.
I don't take early night showers. I only take my showers when my day is done.
Yeah, it was like late at night, like 9 or 10, like when everybody's winding down. Maybe that's why they did it, because they're like, oh, everybody's here, we can force everybody to do it. But it's like, you're never gonna get everybody.
All of us hate it. All of us. And they're like,
it's really bad timing.
And it's just cool because they do it in any type of weather. I'm like, I know fire waits for nobody, but this is just a practice. Like, do you really have to do this?
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, though, for the practice, like, for that time around, they had, like, all the fire trucks, like, come down this tiny little thing. And it's like, why are the fire trucks here if it's a drill? You're wasting their time.
It's stupid. It was all very stupid. I hate it because you're just, it's winter, rain, it doesn't matter. They'd force you out. Stupid. Yeah. This is why fall's my favorite weather. Perfect weather, sweatshirt, jeans, you can do all the activities because it's not too hot, it's not too cold. You got pumpkins, you got the nice leaves, cause it's
got the spooky season, my favorite season.
Also a really pretty season because of all the leaves.
Yeah, because we're in the Northeast, so we get like foliage and like you can actually like see and feel the seasons change.
And it's just like the type of feel you get around fall. And you're like, yes,
it's
nice
very
and cozy. And the colors and fall's just my favorite.
Same. Fall is my favorite.
It's just the perfect weather to me. Like if I could live somewhere where it's fall all the time, that's where I would be.
But then again, if it's fall all the time, would you ever truly appreciate it?
Yes, because it's nice weather.
But if you lived in a place, do you think you would appreciate it?
Yes.
I guess it's hard. Like, live there from birth. Like, never experienced everything else.
Yes.
Like, you didn't get to experience everything to compare it.
I don't care. Summer sucks. Summer is icky. Spring, icky. Winter, a lot of car crashes.
See, honestly,
icky.
I know, I hate the
fall. Perfect.
Like, I don't think I would ever, like, want to live in somewhere that doesn't have seasons, because it's just nice to have change. Unless it was like fall, because like fall, like you said, you like it's sometimes it's still warm enough where you can like go swimming.
Yes.
Warm enough for like campfires and like coolness. So you can like vary your outfits. Like some days you can wear shorts. Some days you can wear sweaters. But you can pretty much do anything in the fall. That's the point. It's like a reasonable enough temperature where it's not too hot or too cold to do anything.
Yeah, you're just content.
Like if I don't know how people in like California and like other places where they're like it never rains. It's like, doesn't that get boring? And also, like, no wonder you have so many fires. Droughts.
It's dry.
Yeah. And dry air is just painful.
It hurts.
It hurts my nose.
But I gotta say, for people with asthma or people who don't know about asthma, when the seasons change, asthma will flare up. So think about it, like, with all the dramatic changes, because obviously climate change and stuff, so, like, when it's constant highs and lows, asthma is like... Because, like, you almost don't know how to breathe.
Because like, the air is, like, different.
If it's, like, super, super cold, you can't breathe, you're supposed to wear a scarf over your face. If it's super, super hot, can't really breathe. The air's too dry.
Yeah.
And, like, for me personally, I used to always get sick as a kid when the weather would change.
Me too. I got sick when the weather
changed. That's when I would get pneumonia. Like, between fall and winter is usually... So, like, my birthday.
I don't think I ever had pneumonia.
I had
whooping cough when I was younger. I remember...
I've had bronchitis too.
I actually remember really being sick with it. So I don't remember if I've talked about this or not. But I was like 6 or whatever. I was in 1st grade. We had this little gingerbread pageant, which is kind of a blur to me. Like even like when it was happening, because I don't know how people got chosen for parts. I think they just like assigned it. But basically we all had these like little like chef's hats made out of paper or whatever. We were singing about like gingerbread or whatever, and the parents came. And I just remember that day I just had a horrible cough. I had like no voice. And then when I went to the pageant, like I could barely sing. And then like I remember when we were leaving, my parents were like, yeah, we need to take you to a doctor. doctor. So I guess they took me to the doctor and they were like, whooping cough. I'll have to ask my mom how that went, how sick I was with that.
But yeah,
I obviously recovered.
Usually when the weather changes is when I get like asthma's really sick. And so when it's constantly changing, like in the beginning of the summer, remember it was like 90 and then went down to like 50, 60 degrees?
Oh yeah, we've had quite a bit of this summer.
And then
like it would go from 90 3 days in a row and then drop down to like 70. And it's like 70 is like a good temperature, but when you go from like 90 to just immediately, your body's just like,
yeah, my body's like starts wheezing and I'm like
it would go from like 90 to 70 to 60s into 60s, rainy and 60s to 70s to some 80s, 90s, and then it's just like all over
like
the place.
So when it gets like even in the 80s, I'm like, it's so hot because I can't adjust. I can't adjust to the weather.
There's been no adjusting. Like, there's been no constant. Like, I also remember, like, being a kid in summer. It was, like, constantly, like, sunny and warm. We could go swimming, like, almost every day. Like, a rainy day
pretty
here
much
and
did
there.
when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Even
yeah,
when
we
it
used to have, like, a
rained.
pool in our yard. We would go, like, swimming in the rain before. One time it started lightning while we were in the pool, though. My dad was like, get out! And so... But yeah, now it's just like there's no consistency anywhere. And people are like, climate change isn't real. Climate changes all the time. But it's like, the thing is, the climate change causes weather patterns to go like all out of whack. This is something one of my college professors was talking about a couple of years ago. She was like, it causes like all these variations and like no consistency and like all these waves of just being all over the place.
Honestly, think back to when you were a kid. Pretty consistent. And then as you're growing up, you're like, what the hell is happening?
And this is just like in our lifetime, our very short lifetimes.
Yeah, I've noticed quite a change from when I was a kid to now.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I kind of miss when it was like a kid, because then you actually had the season. Like, winter was nice when we would like go out and play in the snow.
The winter's not even a winter
have
anymore.
Have some like hot cocoa, curl up, have some like play some video games or watch some movies.
And nowadays you're lucky if you have snow for Christmas.
Inside. And yeah, we haven't had like barely any snow for Christmas in like a couple years.
Lately, February's the worst.
Yeah,
month.
I mean, usually that is the worst, just because it's like the middle of winter. Because winter starts like official winter starts like December 22nd is I think the solstice or whatever. But like it typically starts getting colder like come like November, starts cooling down, starts getting like the beginning of winter, beginning of December, and then like end of January, February, it's like beginning of March is like the dead of winter.
Yeah, because then it started snowing as early as Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
But then that didn't even really stay. It's usually rain. No, it's usually snow, rain. Oh, no evidence of snow. Repeat.
Yeah. Halloween, like winter or fall weather's also been pretty crazy through years. Because I remember one year when we were younger, happened a couple times. It was like an 80-degree Halloween. Then we've had Halloweens where it snows.
And you gotta postpone.
Mm-hmm. So it's just all over the place.
Yeah, but December lately doesn't even feel like December.
No, it's just like crappy weather.
Yeah. Just, sleet, maybe.
Yeah. It's like nice that the roads aren't bad often. Actually, it's hard to tell if they're bad often because it's just constantly changing. So it's like, I don't know. It's nice that there isn't like shoveling wise. See, actually there's a give and take, because when the snow is wet, it's very heavy. For those of you who don't live in an area that gets snow. The fluffy, like dry snow is easier to shovel because it's lighter. You just toss it. Shoveling heavy snow and slush, it's like...
It's a nightmare, honestly. But
10,
here's the
20
thing.
pounds on a shovel.
If you shovel it too early, then your whole driveway just turns into black ice.
Yeah.
So you gotta like hit the sweet spot of when to shovel. And it's really weird to think of it like that, but it's true. Like, you either... Because if you do it too early, your driveway, black ice.
Yeah, it really depends on, like, what the weather's doing.
Do it too late, your driveway is just ice from the snow.
Yeah, like,
so
this
you gotta
weird, like,
hit
clumpy ice that it's, like,
you can't
driving
even
on shards
shovel.
of glass that you can't shovel. You can't, like, your shovel just break. Or, like she said, shovel it all and then just have a sheet of ice.
Yeah, so, like, you gotta get it, like, right at the good point, too.
I hate wet snow.
So
it's a pain.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. Like...
Because then you have ice.
Yeah.
And slush.
Yeah.
And it's heavy and
it's
hard
like,
to move.
Yeah. But
and you get soggy and wet.
Yeah.
Good for... Actually, no. You don't want it too snow to build a snow... Too snow. You don't want it too wet. to build a snowman or like a fort, because if it's too wet, it's just too heavy, not gonna like form right.
You have to be careful when you throw snowballs because there'll be ice in there.
Oh yeah, I remember in
stitches.
kindergarten some kid like threw a snowball at somebody else, but there's like a bunch of ice chunks in it, so it just like had like scrapes and like blood all over his face. So that's like part of the reason why schools don't let you throw snowballs at each other.
Yeah.
Also because they're just like projectiles, people are gonna get hurt, no fighting, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. But, you know, I think we can end that here.
Yeah.
What's your favorite season?
What your favorite season is. What do you like about it? What's your least favorite season and why? What's your least favorite season? I think probably winter for me. Like the dead of winter when it's like, because I just like hate driving.
I think for me it's the summer. I can't handle the heat.
I just like being able to swim and like go outside.
I can't.
But I haven't gotten to swim in like forever.
The heat's so gross. I can't.
I hate humidity. Humidity is awful. You can probably see it in my
hair. Mean, it used to be worse when we were in high school because we had to walk outside. Now, picture our school like a college type of place, and it's just like negative 20 degrees. We went to school. Raining, we went to school, and we were walking it. Some kids would be like sliding down the hills.
Oh yeah, people would like slide down hills and hurt themselves because they wouldn't sand it properly, or even when it was sanded, it was just too icy and too bad. There would be tons of car accidents in the morning from school traffic, tons of bus accidents, buses like slipping on black ice, which is terrifying. I always get scared for my mom because she's a bus driver, and so whenever the weather's bad and they have to go to school, I'm just like, ooh.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, I guess it's kind of a nightmare to be in New England sometimes. I guess it's more like people who are in charge of calling things off don't do it correctly. They don't do the right call.
No, never. Because most people that do, like, I remember our headmaster at the time for high school lived directly across the street from the school. Like, so, he lived basically like in an on-campus headmaster's building.
So basically our high school, because of the way it is, whoever is in charge of the high school gets offered the house that's right across. So they get free housing.
So they're a crosswalk away from school.
Yeah.
And like if they make the final call, they don't get to see what the rest of town is like, and they don't take into consideration
the final call. I think it's a voting system here.
Probably. I don't know how it works. But whoever does it doesn't think of it thoroughly. Like they look out their window on the main road and they're like, oh, it's fine. But they don't think about the kids in the boonies down all like the back roads that like don't get plowed like for a while.
Mm-hmm. Or how about even the malls? They're like, oh, the workers can go. Do you know where we're coming? We're 40 minutes away, and now it's gonna be like 2 hours to get to work. And
plus we run the risk of like dying.
Yeah.
Out of bad weather conditions.
But they don't care. They don't care. And then you get there and you like shake off the snow and you go to work. They're like, okay, now we'll close. And you're like,
I hate
you can't close before the mall opens.
I hate.
And one time, the mall only closed because everyone complained.
I wish more people would complain.
Basically, the mall's like, we're still open. And in the comments, everyone who actually had to drive there, workers, were like, do you see the weather? And then they decided not to.
They'll only do it if it protects their name.
Yeah.
Because they won't care about the workers. But if, like, workers or whoever, or, like, people start complaining about workers, if it makes them look really bad, then they'll be like, oh, we have to. Otherwise, their reputation's on the line.
We're expendable. They don't give anything. They don't care about us. They don't. If they can make money, they're gonna be open. But here's the thing, then you got the stupid people, the 1 or 2 people that randomly show up. So I don't know who to blame, like, honestly.
Blame both of them. Because it's like, we need to for the couple of people that will come. And it's like the couple people that will come.
Well, we need a couple of people, we really like 2 people.
Yeah.
Like 2.
Sometimes like more people will come as it like starts to clear up. But then it's like...
But they don't think about us who actually have to drive home afterwards. Or for us who had to drive here in it. And they're like, then just get a different job. I'm like, if I didn't work here, you wouldn't be here right now because it wouldn't be open.
Yeah, I know. It's like, here you are saying, like, we don't matter because we work here. And, oh, this job isn't up to your standards. Like, then get your ass out of the store. If you don't want us to... If you don't think we need to work here, we shouldn't work here, then don't shop here.
Then don't ask me for help.
I'm not. Go find your shoes yourself.
Like, people have been snapping at us lately to be like, they're like 6.5, and you're like, go find it yourself. Not a dog.
I'm just like,
I'm here to help, not to serve.
Basically, just the expectations of customer service here are just ridiculous.
Yeah, we got off track.
That's again. Like a whole other.
Yeah, but it just makes me mad when I think about bad weather and the mall just staying open regardless. Like, especially my mom just, like, going to work, and it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Bad weather gives me anxiety.
But, as always, please,
let us know your favorite season and your least favorite.
Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all of the things.
Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.